All right, guys. So today is January the 13th, and I'm back on the scene. I've been here for the last week. I just haven't been doing the camera feed. My setup in here has been a little different, so but nevertheless, I didn't miss a day. So today I am back, and I'm just going to hang out on the charts for a bit. Nothing special, so if anyone is interested in learning something special, then be sure to put a comment down below, subscribe, put a comment, and that way you'll get the notification of the response, that kind of thing. What am I going to do today? So last night we did a video, we were talking about the timer, and we are talking about the stopwatch. We're doing the stopwatch. I don't think we got the result that I was looking for, so I'm going to go through and look at that a little bit more today. See if I can tease out why the stopwatch didn't stop when I thought it should, and from there, I'll probably put together a code for the 12th, because I did not put together a code from yesterday. But the code that we already had worked fairly well. Again, this code here, the code looks different than it did during live trading yesterday. During live trading, this area, the entry signal was here. It was here. It was here, and it was here. I believe it was those places. So the script worked fairly well. Let's see if I can do this. The script worked fairly well yesterday, but then when I looked at it afterwards, it didn't seem to give me what I was looking for. It's giving me these points. So just to refresh your memory, let's see here. Videos. Spy session. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. All right, so you see how we're actually getting the entry signals on this bar, this bar, this bar, this bar. And this is on the, you see in the back there, that's the 5-minute time frame. It's on ES. However, when we go to the actual chart that was shown afterwards, we get it here. So we're missing some dots. We're missing some dots. Wait a minute here. As I compare, even these 5-minute bars are different. And that's why that would be different. Okay, let's take a look at it together. Let me see here. Side by side now. Side by side. Okay, so we have the apex coming to the top. We have this drop down. We have 1, 2, 3 bars, which we have, like I said, during live trading, we got the entry there. And then we have this bar. That one. Okay, yeah, it's the same. Well, the bars are the same. I thought I was looking and I saw that the actual bars were different, but the bars look the same. But again, the signals are different. So something something is up. The 200 period moving average came right here. That looks roughly the same. Through here, yep. I don't know what's different. I don't know why it's firing differently. So is that a different one? Usually whenever you have data points on the screen like this, when you have a script running or something, when you click, like you have one study, right? So you see that yellow line, it creates dots all along that yellow line to give you an idea that you're still on the yellow line. It's all part of the same strategy or study. So, okay, well, when I click this, those other two do show up. So it's the same one, 1, 4, 5 minute long. 1, 4, 5 minute long. I'm gonna open it up and see. I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything with that code. I didn't change anything. Swing length. Same, I didn't change anything on that. I didn't change any of these functions. No, I haven't even been in the script. So I wonder, can you lock the script? That's something I really do need to do. Sometimes when you're going and you watch this, like if I have multiple scripts at the top here and you copy that and you want to paste it and move it, you can move it like that. And then if you want to move it to the top and it needs to scroll to the top, you kind of just move it gently to the top and it'll scroll. So like here, you move this gently to the top and it'll scroll to the top. But some of the times I drag this to the top and then I go too far and then it puts me on the next script. And when I come back down to place it, I drop it on an entire new script. So now it does change this script. So that is a problem that I've noticed that I've done before. So let me see if there's a way for me to lock my scripts so that I can't edit them without taking an extra step. I don't know that it is, but I believe I've heard that there is a way. There's a timer there. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how to use these drawing objects in my script. You know what? I'm gonna play with that today just to see what it does. Like I said, learning one thing every day. If I can learn one thing new every day, then that's gonna put me being somewhat more efficient or being able to get to my mark quicker. All right, but I don't see how to lock this. Protect, there we go. All right, sweet. And I'll tell you my password for everything, in case I do send you a script or something like that. My password for everything, even bank accounts, is password. Password, P-A-S-S-W-R-D. Apparently I can't spell. Password. Okay, so now I verified that. Now, how does it work though? Because can I come in? Okay, so when it's protected, it will say protected up here clearly. All right, so if I want to go in here and I want to edit this, this will make the script stop working. Verify. Well, it let me verify it, so that's terrible because we don't want it to allow us to change the script. I mean, that's the whole point of protecting it, right? I think. All right, we're going to close this and see if it'll save. All right, so now we open it back up. I think it was timer tutorial. Tutorial timer. Okay, so it's just a password in order to open it, but not a password to change it. Which, I mean, that's still useful because, well, because if I already have it open and it's like one of these that are open, then I don't, like I said, I don't want to be able to drag stuff into it and change it right away. However, if I do have it open, I don't want to have to put a password in every time I want to come back and make a change. So I guess that's okay. But at least, so this happens, right? So you see all these scripts that I have here. Let's do show me all these scripts that I have here. Say on Axla, penny chart. I need to get rid of all those. I'm pretty much focused on just SPY and ES now. But I have a lot of different scripts. And so if this script looks similar to this script, then while I'm doing some editing or working on the script, I might open this one up to change something, to change a value or to change a variable. But I don't want to open this one up because this one is perfect. And I don't want to change that one. So that one should be password protected. This one here, this kind of, a little wonky, not really a great script, doesn't necessarily need to be password protected for me to get in and start making edits and that kind of thing. And then as I understand it, if I remember correctly, somebody was saying on one of the forums that even though this is password protected, if I send it to somebody, then it will no longer be password protected, I believe. So if I share it with somebody, then it will no longer be password protected. I don't know if that's true or how that works, because again, if you're going to import or export some script, then you're probably doing it because you signed in. Well, actually, you don't have to sign into the development environment. To get into this part of easy language coding, you don't have to sign into TradeStation. It's a separate application on your computer, right? So obviously you have to get onto your computer and then you have to export the script to someone else. But at least there is some idea at that point that you signed into your computer. However, if one of your friends is hanging out at your place and they get onto your computer while you had already logged on, and then they send your script to themselves, even though your script was password protected, when it gets to them, it's not. I think that's how that works. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. All right. So today we covered password protected. So we'll move on to the next thing. All right, so the next thing is going back to the timer, which we looked at yesterday, and I think I had it on maybe the tick chart. I really need to get everything off of these other charts and only work on the mess desk. And I'll show you why, right? So these are the studies that are on this tick chart here, the 15-second time frame. We go back down to like the 1-minute time frame. We can open that up and then edit studies, and then we can see everything that I have on here already. I'll probably clean some of these up, take some of these off, and just put on the latest and greatest. But what happens is if you get on a chart, I'll hit Shift Control E. That brings up the print log. So the print log will pretty much print anything that I say in a script to print. So when I clear the print log and then I go back and I refresh the screen, it still has all this stuff that prints. And if I'm working on one specific strategy and I need it to only print 1 or 2 bars, well, now I have, you know, hundreds or 1,000 bars that comes up every time I hit shift refresh, or every time you get a new tick or a new bar on a chart. So problem there is I don't know how to figure out what printed. Just prints to the print log. There's nothing that tells you what printed. There's print, bookmarks, clear, and find. So I've got all these scripts on all these different charts, and any one of those scripts are all going to print to the exact same print log. And you don't know what script printed to what. Now, at one time I was going in and I'd put a few letters, like if I was working on a bear drop script, I'd write bear drop, and then I'd write what I wanted to print. Well, that takes a little bit of time, and so I stopped doing that. And obviously when I stopped doing that, now I get all of these other, you know, I've got all this going on and I don't know what's printing. So I really need to take a little bit of time, figure that out. So I'm gonna do that right now. And most likely though, when you're working on something or you have something printing, when you go to file, most likely it's on one of these recent files, right? Most likely it's one of these recent files. So I don't know if I can open them all up at one time. Nope. 5 minute long. Swing ratio, bear drop. No, it's not that one. Tick time. Ascending support. 10. At 11. 12 being body, we don't need that one. Okay, so now one of the things I found the other day, which I hadn't been doing, another thing I learned, just go to, not control print, we want to go to control find. Type in the word print. You see this one is printing, right? So we don't want print in here. Okay. Going to find next. All right, that one's printing but is marked out. Go to bear drop, look for next. That one's printing but is marked out, marked out, marked out. All right, this one, find next. See, this one is printing also. Gray that out, gray it out, gray it out, gray it out. And anytime when I'm printing in here, it's because I was trying to figure out what in the heck was going on with the script, and the printing allows you to figure out what values you're getting and why, and it helps you to understand where you went wrong. So printing is super important. And when I first started with scripting, I did not print. I didn't know how to print. I saw some people doing prints and stuff, and when you go into the forums, it says to try printing to your log and to help debug and that kind of thing. And I didn't know what in the heck they were talking about, but got it figured out, and yeah, it's very useful. All right, so now we're going to clear this, and then we're going to go Shift R, so we're refreshing, and we still have something printing. So we're not done yet. We're not out of the woods yet. All right, regression simple. Paint absorption. There's nothing even on here. Close this. Regression simple. And then there's going to be one more way that we can kind of get, try to keep getting to the bottom of this. Let's see, Control F, print, grayed out. Grayed out. Okay. All right, so the next way that we're going to get to the bottom of what's printing is, let's see, Shift R. Need to clear this first, then refresh. All right, so the next way we're going to get to the bottom of it, and again, this is not just for, as I understand, it's not just for Chart ES for this workspace. This is for any of these. Well, now that's different. Okay, so I learned something new. It looks like the print log is specific to the workspace. So for every workspace that does have something printing to a print log, that's when you'll get a that's when you get something on the print log. You see how when I refresh on Mess Desk, we get these kind of prints. We're getting stuff with a colon in it. And then when we go to Chart ES and we refresh, we're getting, let's clear it. Refresh here. We're getting nothing with a colon in it, right? And then we're going to clear, and then we refresh, and now we're getting something with a colon in it. So it's apparently it's specific to the chart, to the workspace. So we'll go to Edit Studies, see what studies are on here. These I know are pretty good. There's nothing wrong with moving averages here. Tutorial Array, that's one that I was working on that required a lot of work. So Tutorial Array probably has some print functions enabled on it. Descending trend lines may. So I'll start with those 3. And we just go to Tutorial, Edit, and then we go here, and we'll go to Edit, and then we'll go here, and we'll go to Edit. Now it brought all those up on my development environment in order. Boom, boom, boom. Nope, it didn't. All right, so, but we did get the first 2. I don't know what happened with the other one. All right, so here we'll go to Control F, print. All right, there's a print there, grayed out, grayed out, grayed out, grayed out. Okay, so descending trend line is good to go. This one, all right, there we go. Now we got a print right there, so we'll gray that out. Find next, it's grayed out. Usually when I get these scripts situated, I'll go ahead and gray it out. So it's not messing with us. All right, so that was on that workspace. So now we're going to clear the log, and then we're going to shift, or we're going to refresh again. So I just have it set as a hotkey, so Shift R. And so we're still getting something printing here on this workspace. So it looks like we probably cleared out any print functions enabled on this chart. Now let's check this chart. So go to Edit Studies. Wow, I have a lot on here. RSI should be good. These should be good. These here, for the most part, these rectangles are these guys, right? So all these rectangles code for what you see here. All right, so that's not, there's nothing printing there. I've had that on for a while, those codes have not changed. Be it an ASC, nothing changed there, nothing changed there. Wave time, that's a new one that I was working on, but it's off. So that should not cause an issue. However, I'll go ahead and check that. Support and demand. Let's see, that one's off as well, but that one I've done for a long time, so that one shouldn't be an issue. These 2 are probably an issue. Same one, time span. That's a new script that I was working on, but they're off. So we'll check this one because it's on. Do edit easy language. Check this one. We'll go ahead and check these 2 just because they're on here. And we won't have to come back for it. And then wave time. That should be the only ones we need to check here. And again, I'm not telling you how to live your life, but when you're doing stuff like coding and when you're working with day trading and you need to see a lot of what's going on with charts, I don't know how to tell you. I've got 3 monitors and I could probably use a 4th. I've got 2 2432s and then a 24. There's no way I could be as efficient as I am without having at least 2 monitors. The 3rd one is great. It just is kind of runs in the background. The other 2, I need 2. I need 2, a minimum of 2. There's no way I would ever go back to a computer, even if I'm just web surfing, Microsoft Word, even if it's just a home office and I'm not doing anything else. I gotta have 2 monitors. It's imperative. Okay, Control F, print. All right, so we cleared the print log there. All right, so this one is printing, but this is the one, the timer trial, that we were definitely working on, so we know that we got something printing there. All right. You know what? When I changed these, I didn't go back and verify them, so it never would have taken the print function off. So I'm just going to each of them and clicking in it and verifying. You just hit F3 to verify. And typically, if you haven't verified something, like watch this. You see wave time indicator up here? There's nothing up here, no asterisks. Go in here, put a space, and now that you put a space, you change this script. It has not been saved. It has not been verified. Typically, once you verify it and it's good to go, it'll be saved. All right, so now just hit F3. Oh, not F2, F3, and then it's verified and it's saved. Now, if you go and you put some junk in there and the computer doesn't know what it is, it can't do anything with that script. Now you hit verify, and then it's not verified. It is saved, but it's not verified. All right, so we'll go back and take that out, and then F3, and then now we can go back to our screen here. We're gonna clear it again, and then hit Shift R. We still have something coming up. So I'm almost convinced though that it's pulling data from all of the workspaces. So we're gonna go ahead and move over to, I'll tell you what, we're gonna take off SPY. Just save it. We're gonna take off SPY. We'll bring SPY back. You know what? I'm gonna take them all off, and then I'll just bring them up one at a time, and then whenever I need to use one, I will adjust accordingly. Because the mess desks that I have, they're just pretty much like a notepad, like a scratch notepad that you want to put a script on or try something on, and you don't want to alter your main notebook kind of a thing. So they're not super important, but Chart ES and Chart SPY are, a significant workspaces. All right, and technically, once I get rid of this, I'm just going to clear Chart ES and Chart SPY, and then I'm going to move on. Okay, so we're still getting something printing here, and okay, I didn't know if I had another work space open. All right, so let's go here. Now on this one, obviously I have several charts open, and even behind this market depth, I have a 15 second time frame. So let's check this guy. And this is why you really want to work, like I said, do your messy stuff, do your coding stuff on a separate workspace, on a messy desk, so that all of your mess will just be in one space, and you won't have to go back and say, oh, did I put a script here that's messing up? Did I put a script here that's causing chaos? Did I put a script here that's printing when it shouldn't be? So now I've got to go and I've got to check them all, right? Look how many scripts I have on this one. All these are good. I know these are good. These are all good and old. That one, I'm not sure about. I think these two are off, so I'm just going to take them off. Progression slope. SPY. We're going to look at that one. Yes. ascending support. That is, those are trend lines that I was working on. So those may have some issues. All right, so nothing for print on this one. Nothing for print on that one. Edit studies. Timer trial. But I think we corrected that one. Just cleared the print log. That's grayed out. That's grayed out. Okay, anything on this one? 5-minute time frame. Got a lot on here. RSI. That was off. Descending trend line. The short and the long, those should not have any issues. Indecision volatility. How come that one's turned off? All right, and then bear drop. Nothing there. Oh, so that's bear drop, and then long. Easy language. And there. Short. Nothing there. Descending trend line. Nothing there. Okay, so nothing on there, nothing on there. Somebody's doing something. Ascending support. Nothing. Oh. Nothing. None of these would be an issue. All right, I think I went to all of them except for this one. Color changing, moving average. We got some dips here. That was back from the 3rd, and those are off. I'm just gonna remove those. Now I am bewildered. All right, make sure I don't have anything else running in the background, any other windows. I got 4 chart analysis windows. That's it. That's the only thing that should be running any scripts. Now, so the next thing to do would be to actually delete each window, you know, one at a time, and then we can find out which windows have it. I really don't want to do that because I like where the windows are, how they're set up. So I really don't want to do that. So how can I do this? Let me try this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this one, Control-Shift-C, and that is a normal hotkey. That's not my hotkey. All right, and then I want to go down here, clear the log, and then I will refresh, Shift-R. Okay, so now it gives me this. So it's telling me that there is something on this screen that is printing. All right, easy enough. Come here and figure out which one it is. Okay, it's not any of those. I know that for sure. Could be this one. Not that one. That is 824, one long. It's this one. RSI box is not that one. Regression slope, well, that's off. Descending support. I already looked at that one. Strategies? Okay. Just for kicks and giggles, because it won't take us but a second, I'm gonna close this one. Chart ES, and now we only have this up. We're gonna clear this, and then we're gonna refresh it and see what happens. Yeah, so it's still, so something's coming up. Something is printing. Regression? That's off. Simple volume. There's nothing to print from there. Regression slope is off. Let's sort it by what's off and what's on. So we start at the top here. Simple volume would not have anything. We looked at that one. We looked at that one. Looked at SPY long. These have been on here for a long time. They don't print anything. 52-week high-low. I don't even know what that one is. Did I make that? No, somebody else made that. Nevertheless, search, nothing there. Line at ask, line at bid. I did add those recently to the script. I mean to the chart. They were already made by TradeStation, but there's no print functions in that. Either one of them. And these guys. What the what? Alright, so let me check these ones that are off. I would not think that the ones that are off could print to the log, because they're off. But I gotta check them, because now I'm not finding anything that's saying that it's printing. And those are just simple scripts. I would try to bring that over. Those are just simple scripts. Oh. See, it's just a value in a plot. So that's not it. Those are simple scripts. All right. Regression, slope, RSI, support demand. I'm tripping now. I am tripping. All right. Let's do this. This is ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna close that. Say no there. All right, we're gonna clear this print log. We're gonna put on a new chart. This is just as cumbersome as coding. Like, this shouldn't be all this. Shift R. Okay, no scripts on this chart whatsoever. Shift R, you refresh, nothing comes up, right? Makes sense. All right. Now, if something came up there, then I'd say that the print log, that whole situation is very screwy. So now we're gonna open, we're gonna go back to chart ES. And while that's setting up, I'm gonna see, is there any, on the forums, does anybody have any great ideas for figuring out what's printing to the print log? Because some of these guys, man, they make scripts that are super long, look super complex. But I tell you though, when you're making scripts, there is a language. The easy language, coding language, is a language, but it's more so, a lot of it is a structure. And then because you can call things what you want them, you kind of create your own language. So somebody else's script that may look super complex, they may have made it more complex than it has to be. They may have used words and declared variables that look like they're super special, but they're not. You could have, they made it 10 letters long, and they could have just made a simple variable 3 letters long. So the complexities of coding don't have to be. It's more so just about the logic. I like that. All right, let's go to quick form search. How to figure what printed to log. All right, and then again, we got something that's printing. So, but what is it printing? The last time on here is 5 o'clock. So it's printing the time. It's printing what else? What is this? 48, 11, 75. I don't know what this is. It looks like it's printing the bar numbers. No. It's printing the time. This number here, 4813, 4813. It's printing a level. It's printing a price level. And it looks like it's printing two price levels, one here and one here. Now, what was I doing when I was having trouble and I needed to print 2 price levels? And the time. I think I was trying to figure out, what was it? It was not the regression. Yeah, it was a regression line I had a lot of trouble with. But that's off. Those are off. Timer trial. I know we looked at that one. That one's simple. There's not much on there. Regression line is off, but we're gonna open that one up. It's just a line. Regression line is just a line. Setting support. Regression slope. Yep, again, just plotting a value. This is ascending support. It says it can't find print, but damn it, I almost don't believe it now. I feel like I need to look through it. I don't trust the computer anymore at this point. Something's going on. Regression slope. That's the one that we looked at. It's by long. Print there. It's just the one and it's grayed out. You know what? I got it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this workspace 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I'm gonna make 4 copies. Well, I guess I don't have to do it that way. I could just make 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll just copy one over. This is essentially what I just done, but that didn't give me the results I was looking for. We're gonna put 1 workspace in each section, 1 chart in each section. So this will be the first chart. And then we're gonna close chart ES. And then we'll narrow down which one is the problem. And this is the part about coding that nobody wants to do. Right? So that's why programmers, you know, AI programmers, they're getting it done these days. I tell you what though, I just copied that over and it didn't like it. Something is sucking up the computer right now. Which is unusual. Oh man, please don't. There we go. Okay. Sometimes TradeStation kind of has a little bit of a brain fart or something. Okay, so we got 15 tick. Now we're gonna copy this one. This is the 1 minute time frame. Okay, now we're gonna copy the 15-second time frame. Now we're gonna copy the 5 minute time frame. All right, we're gonna close this one. Close this one. We don't need to save the changes. All right, clear the print log. Refresh this one. This is the 15 tick bar, right? Now I was doing some work on the 15 tick bar. I was doing something like the time span of 10 bars. So we're looking at so many bars, or maybe 50 or something like that. We're looking at so many bars, and we're looking at the time that spanned between that many bars, coming up with a ratio. That was one of the ones that I was working on most recently. So could be an issue in there, but I checked that script. It seemed like it was okay. That being said, it's still pulling a lot of data now. Okay, well, I think last night I did put timer trial on there. And it was running a loop, right? So it's running this loop, and the intent of it was to find out how the stopwatch worked. And I was getting something coming up there, and I did have it printing, but I stopped that from printing. So even though we're not printing there, part of the trouble probably is still that is running a loop. And probably needed to stop doing that. Okay, but it ran, and it didn't print anything, so that's perfect. So the 15 tick bar is good to go. So I do need to change this script. I'm just gonna gray all this out for now, or until I decide what I want to do with this stopwatch script here in just a short bit. All right, so the 15 tick bar is good. This one, the 1 minute time frame, let's refresh that one. Okay, so the 1 minute time frame definitely has something going on with it that's causing us to print. The 15-second time frame, stuff is loading up a little bit slow today. Come on, baby. Come on. Can I go on here? Can I move on? Can I move on? So as not to confuse it, but I am. I'm going to refresh the 5 minute time frame. 5 minute time frame did push something out. So the 5 minute time frame has something going on. It's printing. 15 tick was okay. This one, so the 1 minute time frame and the 5 minute time frame, we know that we need to check into those. This one here finally finished. Let's change the number of days back. I mean, 2 days back. That should have finished a lot quicker than that. Meanwhile, while. We'll go over to the 5-minute time frame and see what in the world is printing. Is it volatility? We have not checked volatility yet. This is a script that TradeStation made, and I made one similar to it. But we don't need their volatility because it didn't seem to provide me with anything useful. All right, so RSI, these, that, those, that. Looks like this is the same thing. We don't need it duplicated. Support and demand. I'm going to check support and demand just because I haven't yet, and I assumed that it was good. So, nope, support and demand is good. Studies. Indecision volatility, I hadn't checked yet. But I thought it was good. Yeah, it's good. There's no print on there. Bear drop. That's one that I was working on, but I've checked bear drop 1,000 times. Come on, man. We got to get through this so we can get on to the next thing. But again, it's hard for me to move on to any new scripts when, as the complexity of my scripts increase, I've got to be able to use the print log in order to kind of debug and help get the scripts right. And I've got stuff that keeps printing to the print log. So no doubt about it, I need this to be straight before I continue on. So just got to keep working through it. Well, what is mark all if it doesn't mark them? All right, whatever. Okay, so it looked like that finished and it didn't print anything. So I think the 15-second bar and the 15-tick bar, I think those are both fine. We have problems with the 1-minute time frame and the 5-minute time frame. Now I'm just going to kind of look at the 1-minute time frame one and see if I see any scripts that are the same amongst them both. Now I can do this because I saved this. This came off chart ES, and chart ES is good to go. Well, it is what it is. It's already been saved. So what I can do is I can refresh and I get the prints to come. Clear the log, go to studies, and just start deleting them. And then refresh again and see, do I still get the issue? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete regression slope, and the support and demands. Okay, still coming up. All right, this time I'm going to delete all these that should not have a problem at all. None of these should be an issue. None of these should be an issue, and I'm not even paying attention to what they are because they should not be an issue. Everything pretty much that is in my box up here, in my indicator, my box, and then the moving averages and the volume. Everything that's basic on my charts. That I put on every chart, right? So none of those were the issue. Because I mean, they're on every chart. They've been on there for a long time. These two are new. Line at ass and line at bid. Those two are new for me. So they shouldn't be an issue either. They were created by TradeStation, and there's nothing in their scripts. Now, there's something in here that is wonky in these last three, right? And I hate to have broken it down this far because we should have been able to do it just by clicking on each one and going to print or find. Now we're down to the last three. Ascending support. Remove that one. Still going. ES 1 minute long. Move that one. That's the one that it was. What? ES 1 minute long? That is... must be this one. 111.24, 1 minute long. There's a print. That's the only print. Let me add it back. That was 111. 111, 1 minute long. Ah, that wasn't the right one then. All right, so now we need to go back and open up the original chart ES and figure out what 1 minute long is on there. Chart ES. Ah, Jesus. It was the one that was ES 1 minute long, and it was not January 11th. What else do I have ES 1 minute long? Like I say, if it wasn't in these last ones here, then it was so many, it was at least 16 scripts ago, and you know, I hadn't edited it then or since then. All right. Edited it. Man, say that 20 times fast. Edited it. All right, so that was a 1 minute time frame we're on here, and so go to edit studies, and then that was the 1 minute long. That's literally what I just pulled up. ES 111.24, 1 minute long. That's the only thing that I had on there. Yes. Edit the easy language. That's here. Print. It's grayed out. Besides, that's not it anyway, because this would be printing max bars back and the count, and that's not what it's printing. It's printing the time and then 2 price levels. Yo, something is screwy. Okay. Now it's not coming up. Refresh that one. Mind you, I have not changed anything since we last saved this version of the workspace, and then just copied everything out one at a time. I've not saved anything or removed anything. This is going to drive me to smoking. But I tell you what, and I know that TradeStation and Thinkorswim, they do a lot of they do maintenance and stuff on the weekends, often at night times, but they do it on the weekends. So, but I'm saying that this data is moving very slow today. So, might be trying to work on this at a bad time. All right, so nothing popped up there. All right, let's go over to the 5-minute time frame. Nothing popped up there. And then the 15 tick bar. That one was okay. I just need to make sure that's saved so we don't run into the loop so many times. Okay, well, looks like the problem solved itself. You know what? One thing did happen, though. One thing did happen because we went through and there were a couple of scripts that still had print on it. And as I was going through them, I muted them out, but I didn't save them. We had just talked about saving and verifying. I didn't save them. And then I realized that halfway through our searching that I wasn't saving them. And so I started saving and verifying as we were making it through. So probably what happened is that the corrections that we made, we just didn't save. And I noticed, that I accidentally had tried to close the development environment. And when I tried to close the development environment, it said, oh, do you want to save such and such? You made a change on there. Do you want to save such and such? And I was like, yeah. So probably what happened is we made the change, but it wasn't saved. And even when I was going back and looking at them, I wasn't paying attention to the fact that, yes, there was the print muted out, but the asterisk was probably still there saying that it wasn't saved or verified. And that's what happens when you're looking at the screen in this kind of a version. Whereas if I blew it up like that, I could see that save and verified down at the bottom. This should be blue, not red. And you gotta look all the way down there too, though, right? So when you have it in this smaller format like this, that's probably something that you want to be careful of. All right. My brain is complete mush right now. So I'm actually going to close this. See, it's actually descending trend line. Do you want to save that, right? So that might have been another one that we had made a change to. And yes, we want to save it. We want to save the fact that we don't want anything to print. All right, so I think that's probably solves our issues. And we're going to close all these out. I'm telling you, man. How long have I spent on this? I probably spent 40 minutes just getting to the bottom of this. And a lot of people are not going to spend 40 minutes doing that. All right. This is what I like to do in my free time. All right, so chart ES and then chart SPY. All right, so now I believe we are good to go. Yeah. So nothing should come up on any of our print logs because we should be good to go. Like I said, with the exception of the chart moving incredibly slow today. And last night, we showed you how to pull up your utilization monitor to see what's taking up so much of the calculation space, time, the memory of the computer. So right now, it looks like I do have 2 desktops open. No, just not 2 desktops. We have 2 workspaces. All right, so they're both taken up or have taken up about the same amount of computer calculation space. Looks like they're both done now. The 15 tick bar looks like it took up the most amount of resources, 48%. And out of here, probably the 15 second and the 15 tick bar took about the same. So go here. All right, Now we're good to go. Now there's nothing on the print log. And I can go take a smoke break. No, I don't smoke. That stuff ain't good for you, man. All right, so I'm just going to put together a script real quick on SPY or ES. I don't know which one. Like I said, I'm still not happy that these changed, that these are not what they were when I was coding live, because that lets me know that something huge is going on. And also, we got this nice red shorting indicator here at the very top, so that's good. Let's get this one out of here. We're gonna disable it. You know what? I'm gonna do what I said I should have done the other time. Is keep that on. I'm gonna move this to a new window, and then we're gonna mute this out. Okay, now we go back and open up that development environment. Okay, so all these should be saved. I'm going to close out all these though. There's a lot open. We were trying to really figure out what was printing to our log. All right, and then we'll open a new one, or start a new one, and we'll call it I don't know what we're doing. SPY or ES? SPY 011324 long, 24 hour. I'm gonna do the 1 minute time frame. The 1 minute time frame is always more difficult to do, but I'm up for a challenge today. We just got that print log situation out of control, out of the way. I'm up for a challenge. All right. So, see a SPY, so good. 1 minute time frame. And you see how that red dot that was at the very top before, and was at the very apex. Now it's at these random places. That's because it doesn't work on the 1 minute time frame. So, gotta get it out of there. All right. So I'm gonna start looking right in here. One of the reasons why I was doing a lot with the trend lines is because I wanted to be able to get good enough at the trend lines that I could plot a trend line and make sure that the chart is moving above the trend line before I take an entry going for longs, right? So if we're going for longs, we technically most of the time want to be above a trend line, right? Unless you're getting the very bottom, unless you're getting the reversal. And some people look for that. There might be on the larger time frame, and they're looking for that reversal at that support level. So, but here on the smaller time frame, intraday, I'm looking, if we were to get in after this trend line, the 2 data points here are one there, and then it draws a trend line through here. And now you broke that trend line. If you were to get in on this trend line here, your first pullback would be here. And then your second pullback would be here, and then your third pullback would be there. Let's see if I can make a script that will code for these and then shut down after it gets to whatever is going on right there. All right, so this trend line is how many bars? We didn't even have an input. Swing length. Now if we did regression line, that's what I've been working on most recently. Even the regression line from here to here. Down there. All right. Now this trend line has these two data points here and here. And that regression line is lower also. I'm looking to see that this regression line is lower than this trend line. Okay. And then also for this break of this trend line, at the height here and next bar here, this regression line is also lower. You wouldn't want to take this break. Definitely have one that at least have a small candle above the 9-period moving average, and then take that pull back. Well, there we have a small candle as well. All right, give me just a moment. People always trying to sell you something. All right, so if I break the trend line, then I want to look for a bullish candle breaking the trend line. Yeah, so this script is going to get a little bit more complex, a lot more complex. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. All right, let's go. All right, so, and coding for the trend lines is not like, I mean, it's basic, but it's not just super simple. So let's do it. Let's do it. We're going to say that at least we have this part done. We're going to say that we have a swing high. That swing high is going to be there. Swing high length of 10, and then we're going to have something called swing high level, and that will swing high level. All right, so we'll say if swing high is greater than 0, then swing high level is equal to swing high, else swing high level equals swing high level a bar ago. Yeah, and I already got that here. Oh, Jesus. All right, well, there we go. All right, so, well, let's just move on from there then. We'll move on from there. All right, so it's a part of my template. Like I said, I do it often enough that I'm like, let me make it a part of the template. But also, I knew I had it saved somewhere or on another script somewhere, but I didn't want to use that. I want to use I want to go through the motion. I want to go through the practice so that it's easier and easier and easier and more. Well, and I mean, you see, I did it exactly, so that's perfect. All right, so now we want to say we want to count. We want to count the highs. Okay, so we want to count the high span. It's going to be plus or equal to 1, so we'll add 1 to each one, And then if swing high level is different than swing high level a bar before it, then bar before it, and swing high level is less than the one before it, and count H is plus or is greater than or equal to 2. That just says that you have at least 2 new swing highs. Then begin. We're going to do trend line equals trend line dot create. Since we're doing this, we need to use the easy language system, which is more than just your basic coding parameters. You're getting some extra power in here, and the script has to call for that extra power using objects. I think that this all has to be put at the very top. That's how I've been doing it. It's been working. So let's not fix something that ain't broke. All right, so trendline.create. We're going to do datetime point create of bar date number of how many bars ago of the swing high length plus the count high span. All right, close that, and we're gonna, and that's the value of that is going to be the high of swing high, how many bars back, swing high level plus count high span. Okay, and then for the second point, gotta close that. For the second point, we gotta do bar date number of how many bars back? Just the swing high length, just that many bars back, and then it'll be the high of that same thing. Close that. Close the trend line. Now we have to add the trend line to the chart. And then we want to lock it just so it doesn't move around when we're dragging our screen. Okay, so that should be it. Now, when we get done using that price level, or that number of that instance of a high, we want to reset it. So count high equals 0, and then we're going to end it, and then we're going to always, if we get a new high, which just means that the swing high level is different than the one before it, regardless if we got our second new high to draw the trend line or not, we want to reset the count span. All right, so count high span, count. If the swing high level is different than the one before it, then count H plus equal to 1. Then if it's at least greater than or equal to 2, Then we start this. Verify. Invalid namespace. What are you talking about? EL system.drawing object, maybe? Easy language system.drawing objects. It is doing something funny, which it doesn't do, so what's going on here? Boom. Boom. Oh. Is that what I didn't do the first time? I don't know. All right. Count HS, we need to do the trend line, which was trend line TL. That'll be a null and not a number or integer. Swing high, swing IL, count H. And bar date time. Bar date number, bar date time. Oops. I gotta remember that stuff has to come up in blue in order for me to move on. All right. Don't know why you're down there. Okay, so now we're actually gonna get this out of here. And then these regression lines that we drew, it's just clutters the thing. SPY 0113, 24 long. SPY 134. Show me. And as I get better with this, I'll just, like I said, put those, put the trend lines in a short snippet so that I can just kind of copy and paste it. But like I said, right now I just want to do it so that I have the practice of doing it. And then I can worry with the other stuff later. Okay, so you see the trend line that we have there, and now we want to extend that. TL dot extend right equals true. Okay. All right, so we have several trend lines there, and every time that it was broken, at some point we had to move up, right? Every time it was broken, at some point we had to move up. Now, so what we want to find out is when it was broken, how? How? Sway? How? When it was broken, how? This time it was broken with low volume. This time it was broken with a low volume, right at the 200 period moving average, lower volume, and a somewhat of a doji, somewhat of an indecision candle, right? It's not like a Marubozu. I think it's a Marubozu that's like a shaven candle. It has wicks on both sides, so don't take that. This one here is broken with a little bit longer body candle. It does have a wick at the top, but it's a longer body candle. It's under the 200 EMA. It's under 15, or the green line is under the 25 period moving average. At least the open and the close is, but it's over the 15 period moving average. This one is not. And both of them did have higher volume bearish candles somewhat in that dip. So did this one. Had higher volume candles somewhat in that dip. It's not a super huge wick there. Price level prior to it was low. See, what I'm doing is I'm looking. I don't think that helps though. So what I'm doing is I'm looking like at this break here. I'm looking to see when you come over here, what happened in this volume. This volume over here was low too. I mean, you had this large bear that increased volume, but this volume here was low. And same thing here when you got this break, this volume right here, those two bars, it was lowish also. However, I think I do like the fact that you got this large wick in here, right? And on this one, you don't have that so much. This one, was, yeah, this one came down, but it already had a large wick. This one came down. It did not have a lot of action. You see how this is like essentially would have made like a double bottom. And I think, and that's one of the things I'm working on too, is trying to find places where traditional traders would be trying to enter, or could experience some pain, right? Because that double bottom, people look at that as the retest and like, oh yeah, plus is breaking the trend line, boom, let's go, right? But it took your monies. Probably mine too. But so you've got activity to the left, activity. Yeah. So activity under here, and over here you do have activity under, but you don't have it also to the left. So it didn't make that double bottom, but it did have this large wick here instead. I like that. I like that. I like it a lot. These don't say that. These are saying something else. So if this one was the same, technically, if this one drew a line such like, instead of hitting that one, if it drew it through this one and came through, I think I would like this one better, because you have that break through there, but now you have this nice drop below this zone, right? You have that huge, I mean, on a larger time frame, it looked like a wick. You have a huge wick down and then back up and then through. And you had some semblance of a base trying to form right here. And why is that important? Because this base means that people thought that, okay, well, this is safe. This is a safe place to enter. And then it wicked down and then took all those sell orders, and now it moved up and up through that trend line. So I like that. I like that. And with the bearish candle below everything. Yeah. Because I'm looking here. If we zoom in, I'm looking here and I see something similar, right? So we see, but it's definitely not as clean. We see a potential base trying to form here, and then we see this potential break through here, and we have this large bearish candle here, which then tries to break up back through. It fails, but if you consider this candle here to be definitely a candle of interest that rejected these lows, well, it didn't really, because this is all within that, which is all within that. So it's playing the same game, right? But this guy here, this candle here that really wicked down, there's nothing else right here, right? This is empty space. So it just took all this. It's not competing with anybody else over here. It just took all of this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so from a technical analysis standpoint, I love that. Now, if I can get that into a code, that's not so easy. So, but I think what I can do is like make a regression line, say that if we, I like this. But I need to figure out how far the span is in between swing highs. And that's where it comes in to play the script that I made the other day about finding the time span. So it's going to be a little bit more complex. I'm gonna work on this over the weekend, but I'm just kind of telling you what I'm up to. All right, so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this large drop. All right, so let's do this. Just made a new screen. Okay, and let's see, can we get rid of everything? Gonna get rid of everything. Oh, what? All right, but we didn't get rid of the studies. Okay, so I mean, we can, but I won't for right now. All right, so what I'm looking for is and even this I think this would not qualify. Because what we're looking for is a trend line. Not first and foremost, but first and foremost, we're looking for a trend line. This does not have a trend line. No trend line there. So we're looking for a trend line. Or is that what we're looking for? Jesus. Where was I even at? I was in there. Oh, I don't think that's what I wanted. Like I said, I mean, it could work, but no, I don't think that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for a trend line. Oh, is that what it's going to do? Okay, well, so be it. I'm looking for a trend line. All right, hang tight 2 seconds. Let me take this call. What's up, dog? All right, I'll get back with him. All right, so I'm looking for a trend line that comes through, and then when we get a large bearish candle, or a large bearish candle, we want to look back to the left and check the regression from the bar before the bearish candle. We want to check the regression from that open back so many bars. And I think the bars is going to have to be a relation the bars is going to have to be with respect to how many bars it is between swing periods. Yep. All right. And by swing periods, I mean from swing high to swing high, swing high to swing high, swing high to swing high. Like, what's the average number of bars? And we can use an array to calculate the average. And that's why I learned how to make arrays. See that? See how everything is coming together? Learning one thing and learning one thing and learning what it's all coming together. So I'm gonna put all this together, and once I get that average number of bars between cycles, then I can use that number of bars to say, hey, okay, now we're going to take a regression line and go from here to, I don't know how many ever number of cycles, I guess 1, maybe 2 cycles, and then see what that regression line is. And if that regression line shows that the stock, that the instrument during that period of time was not aggressively downward sloping, you know, we can check the angle of this regression line. If it's not, let's see, will it show us here? So we can check the angle of the regression line. No, you have to pull it up from the script. So once we check the angle of the regression line, if it's fairly level, which means that there was a box there, and now not only do you have a box, but now you have a huge drop below the box, and it wicked up, and now it breaks the trend line with a good size bullish candle. That's what I want to take. That's what I want to take. So that's the strategy that I'm going to try to put together. What are you serious? I'm putting that together. Right? So the average number of cycles would be X, and then this here doesn't meet the criteria for the average number of cycles because it would be, you know, so far out. But either way, the average number of cycles would have been like out here or something. And so if you draw that regression line, now from here to here, that regression line is angled way up, right? So at that point, it's not a reversal. It's not you're buying into supply at that point. So that could be a good indication for identifying supply, but not demand. And I'm looking at demand right now. So you see how this regression line slopes down, this one slopes up. And you could do the same thing using moving averages if you wanted to, I guess. But the difference between that is with the regression line, I can look at it from point to point. With moving averages, and I think that's part of the trouble I've had with moving averages before, is they're all on a different, moving averages are all on a different cycle, right? Your 200 period moving average is using 200 bars. Your 10 period moving average is using 10 bars. Your 25 period moving average is using 25 bars. So when you get in this range here and you want to know specifically from here to here what's going on, then I mean you could do something just like a regular average, or you could do a like I said, like a regression line, which kind of has a moving component to it, but it is very specific between here and here. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I've got my marching orders, right? So I've got my marching orders. I'm gonna put a few minutes of it together now, and then I will work on the rest later. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of put some music on and just get the coding for 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'll chat with you. I'll chat with you later. If you have any questions, put it in the chat, and let me see if I can put that up here so you can do that. All right, folks, so I pretty much got it about where I want it, but I've still got a little bit more to do. So what happened here? Excuse me. Essentially, what I was talking about for today is that and the thing about these trend lines, which I have to find out if there's a way to offset this, is that if you have multiple trend lines on one day, then as they are crossing one another, when a new one starts, it won't give you good signals from the previous one, because now as soon as the new one starts, now it's using data from the new one instead of the old one. So it's fine here when you have trend line here and then you don't have anything, and you have a trend line here and you don't have much of anything, and then you got a trend line here. Same way this trend line starts and goes here. This one has pretty much cut out back here somewhere. So, but because only technically one trend line is new on the chart at a time, I've got to figure out how to account for that. But essentially, what I was trying to do, and it looks good on this day, like I said, because on these other days pre-market, you can't look at after hours and pre-market, but like here, these should not be firing at all, really, because and I know where they're firing, because you have so many trend lines coming through here, right? And it's using these trend lines that are present on here to make its determination. And you know what? It's almost like I have to say, if the trend line was created before today, before the day of, then we don't want to use it. Or if the trend line, if the angle of the trend line is flatter than a certain number, then we don't want to use it. So, and I can definitely code for that. But I tell you what I was actually coding for today, when I was looking specifically at this date here, is I was looking for so our candles of interest are essentially our yellow candles. I think we had to get the yellow ones. Yeah, so these green ones actually don't apply. These green ones don't apply. You have to have the green after the yellow, is what it is. Because what we're looking for is, we're looking for a descending trend line, number one. Number two, we're looking for a we're looking for a large bearish drop, number two. And then from that, we're looking back that number of bars, and we're going to pull up a regression line, and that regression line has to meet a certain criteria. And I think it was, the angle should be between -1 and -1.6 or something like that. -1.6 and -1.0. And then after you have that regression line, like I said, that angle has to be a certain angle. It has to be descending. It cannot be ascending. After you get that angle, then the next piece, which I haven't even coded for, the next piece is that we want to see that the bottom, the low of this bearish drop is under the trend line, and now your cross above the trend line is over the trend line, right? So again, these green lines don't mean anything unless they're right after the yellow. Again, after hours doesn't count, so let me go ahead and do after. Let's see if I can count for that. Time is greater than Okay, so the after hours stuff does not pop up. And again, we have to have that yellow bearish drop at the beginning of our green, right? So this could work here, but you know, because it's got the yellow at the top of the bearish drop, but we don't have any green down here. And so, like I said, that next piece of the criteria, which I haven't coded for, is whatever trend line you draw here, this green has to be under the trend line, and then you want to take the break of it, right? So I don't see any other places where we have yellow at the top and green at the bottom. And these would not work anyway because they don't have a regression line that's less than, I know they don't because the chart is moving up. So the regression line isn't negative. There's a bearish drop, but it's at the beginning of the trend line. This bearish drop has to show up after the trend line has been created. So it'd have to be over here somewhere. So that one doesn't apply. So this script is fairly specific. This is a nice bearish drop, but it's not after the trend line is created. And then, so like I said, after the trend line is created, we have a bearish drop, and then we want to have a volume over top. We want to have a value over top of the trend line. Again, this one here, nice bearish drop, but now we're looking for that value over this trend line. So, there's still quite a bit of cleaning up to do on this thing. But where do I have these green bars coming up? Because they are way too numerous. Green, 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 green. And today is actually my first day using the green bars in such a fashion, or just using the plots in such a fashion so I can see kind of step by step what I'm getting. So I kind of like this. All right, so if we have the time and we do have a trend line and the count is greater and the value is less than, okay, so that's just saying that the value is less than some trend line that was on the chart at the time. So we don't need this to show up. Okay. All right, so like I said, the yellows, as I'm putting everything together, the yellows is what's most important right now. Like I say, whatever the trend line is, you got to have that yellow drop, and then you have to have this bar over top of it. So that one doesn't qualify either. Same thing here, you got this bearish drop. Now you need to have a value over top of this trend line. Nice drop, but you now need to have a value over top of the trend line. And there are a few more other pieces of code that I wanted to put in that bearish drop. So that bear there doesn't really qualify. I don't think it's not aggressive enough, and it certainly doesn't stop within a certain number of ticks. So yeah, we got the trend line comes out here. So, you know, I don't know. What do? If you get this yellow in potential entry signal, do you wait for the first trend line to be drawn and then take that first entry, as long as you have this bearish candle under there? Maybe. I don't know. But same way with here. This larger trend line is from here to here. Your bearish drop is here. That's not the ideal place that I'm looking for these at. But okay, so then do you take the first break of that trend line? Again, maybe, because that's not a bad move up there after. So far, that's worked multiple times. And then here, my ideal trend line would be from here to here, right? And so again, you get this bearish drop under the trend line. Then do you take the break of the trend line? Maybe. 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4 doesn't look bad. So I got to fine tune that one a little bit more. But I kind of had fun putting it together. I actually put this one together a lot different than I normally do. Normally, I do my scripts like this, right? So I have the condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, condition 4, and then when they all meet, then we do the next thing. But this time I did it in a sequential fashion to where we start with the 1, and if it gets through that first one, then we go to the next one. If it gets through that one, then we go to the next one. If it gets through that one, then we go to the next one. And doing it this way allowed me to actually plot a couple points, plot the bars, the circles as I went to see what's happening in sequential fashion. So I kind of like this way, and I probably won't do this way all the time because there's a lot more confusion, right? There's a lot more, you have, it's definitely a daisy chain. So if you want to change one thing in here, then you have to change the entire thing. Whereas if you go this way, if you want to change one thing, then you just take it out. If you want to change one thing here, you have to restructure everything. See this? This here, this if statement starts this begin to this end. If you come here, you want to take that out, boom. That only does that. If you want to take this begin, this if statement starts this begin from here to here, take that out, boom, right? So everything is daisy chained. So if you want to affect one thing, then everything else will be weaved into that web. So it will make it more complicated if you have issues down the road. But for what I was trying to do here, it worked perfectly. So, and that's why I spent so much time working on those regression channels. And that's why I spent so much time learning how to use the get value function on making trend lines. And that's why I spent so much time making trend lines. And so it's all coming together. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions or anything, drop them in the chat. And or if you need to reach out to me, drop it in the chat, put a comment, subscribe, share. And as I kind of refine this script during the course of the weekend, I'm sure I'll make a post of it maybe tomorrow or the next day, and we'll see how good it is. We'll see how good it is. And again, this is the 1 minute time frame. If I was to do this on the 5 minute time frame, I don't know what those values would be, but if I was to do this on the 5 minute time frame, I feel like we get much better signals. Here's a 5 minute time frame. But like I said, those numbers would need to be adjusted. Dealing with different time frames, you're gonna have to deal with different values. Movements on the 5 minute time frame are different than movements, trading ranges on the 1 minute, on the 15 second. So yeah, if we look at the 5 minute time frame, we really have 1, maybe 2 to show up, and they are not doing what I wanted them to do on the 1 minute time frame. So all right, last thing before I leave, because we messed up with this. This is what we spent the first 40 minutes working on, is printing and having stuff print to the screen. And then, I think I already took it off. And then we have all these scripts running, and it's printing to our log. So now we got everything cleared off the print log, so we're good to go. All right, guys, this has been another episode of Success Over Stress. I hope you enjoyed your time, and be sure to come back and visit with me later. Signing off. Oh man, I am fading away. I'm fading out. All right, guys, I'll check with you later. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.